Trying to center myself. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is my special guest, uh, Jason,
With
and he's running the Kentucky Sustainable Living event next week.
yes,
We've been talking for maybe a couple months now, a
yeah,
couple
pretty
weeks,
close to that.
right? For about a couple weeks, rather. Sorry, and interesting conversations we had leading up to me getting on the thing. Um, by the way, let me start the.
Hey, it's training prep time, and I'm on a mission to.
All right, guys. So let me get this out of the way first. Flown Grown, Dan, Dobie, Cat Girl, Groundhog. Thank you for the 5x5. Black Wolf, Joe, Lisa, Johnny, WTC, Scott. Thank you for the 5x5. Spotted Fawn, Sojourner. Thank you for the 5x5. PJ Shankles. Thank you for the 5x5. That's weird. Adam, uh, Electro Rock. Thank you for the 5x5 or the hand by hand. Freedom. And by the way, do you have a YouTube channel? No, right?
Yes, I do. It's
You,
Kentucky Sustainable Living. It's a YouTube channel.
Kentucky Sustainable Living is a YouTube channel. Uh, Northern Girl Hobbies, if you could look that up for me, I appreciate that. Freedom 777 and Darcy, thank you for 5x5. So, um, we're going to jump into a couple of subjects real quick, and then he's going to tell you about the Kentucky Sustainable Living. Jesus, man. It's like I'm having a stroke. Uh, Event that is next week. But anyway, before we get into what we're talking about tonight, do me a favor and talk a little bit about yourself.
I'm Jason with Kentucky Sustainable Living. We started Kentucky Sustainable Living about 3.5 to 4 years ago. We saw the need for a mutual assistance group in Kentucky. So I myself and several other guys started the group. It's grown past Kentucky. We've got members all over the state of Kentucky. We're always taking new members. We do a lot of educational stuff. We do pig processing, cow processing, chicken processing here at my place, help one another on stuff. We have people come in, do guest lectures and stuff like that. We'll do training classes. You can find us at KentuckySustainableLiving.com or on my YouTube channel also. But we've just got a group of Kentucky people that we like to get together, train, educate one another, and then help out. Like if I need help on my homestead, uh, some of the guys will come and help me put up some fence, and then a couple of weeks later I'll go help them do, build a barn or something like that at their place. So it's more of a loose knit mutual assistance group all over Kentucky. And then we got the bright idea. We're like, hey, let's do a festival. So we had our first festival last October in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and it was a success. And we're like, we're going to keep doing these things. So the festival, we've got vendors. We probably have around 60 vendors. Everything from solar companies like Dakota Lithium, some other solar companies, freeze-dried companies, custom knife makers, people that are making stuff on their homesteads. We've got that. Soaps, tinctures, herbs. Uh, John Deere's going to be there. John Deere's one of our sponsors, so they're going to have equipment and everything like that that you can look at. We've got, of course, Jason, you're going to be there to speak about some stuff. We've got a bunch of other speakers that'll be there talking about everything from bugging out, how to build bug out bags, how to set up your farm on a permaculture system. We're going to do a sheep processing. One of my sheep that I raise, we're going to slaughter it and show you start to finish on how to process a lamb.
Very good. And I am excited to make it out to this thing, especially being that I'm driving down. I like road trips like that. Uh, even though I do a lot of speeding, you do enjoy. I do and get to enjoy the open road every now and again. So what I mean, as far as homesteading, right? What is your eh, fuck it? What is your worst fear in regards to um, something going down and being prepared for it or not prepared for it?
I think worst case scenario is an EMP. I mean, if you prepare for an EMP happening, you've prepared for everything else that could possibly go wrong. So if you're prepared for the EMP, you're prepared for any kind of pandemic or something like that. Any kind of natural disaster, you're kind of prepared for that. Everything besides an EMP is probably going to be a walk in the park. My biggest thing is probably a financial collapse. I think we're on the precipice of a financial collapse, uh, and I think we've been that way for a long time. But if you're growing your own food and raising a lot of your own stuff, the financial part of it is not going to be near as bad as if you're buying everything from the grocery store. Every day you decide what you want to eat from the grocery store and you stop and get it. We go to the grocery store probably once a week to get stuff that we don't raise here. We raise probably 80 to 90% of the meat that we eat is all raised on our place, and it never leaves the farm. We process it right here and put it in the freezer. So it's born and dies here on the farm.
Could you do me a favor? Uh, Move the mic closer to you, or move closer to the mic if you can.
Is that
That's
better?
yes, that should
We'll
be.
get. All right.
Yeah, it should be better. I guess. That's what one of my mods was saying. But it's funny, right? Because I talked about descending into chaos when I was talking about Haiti and how bad Haiti is turning out. We're gonna jump into that in a little bit. But I made the mistake in saying that chaos that it would take a while for us to fall into chaos, and I completely forgot about the power outage. Right? Obviously, if the power goes out nationwide or worldwide, um, we're going to descend into chaos probably within hours.
Yeah.
Anything else, a financial collapse will probably take months, depending on how bad it gets. But natural disaster of some kind would take months if it like a meteor falling out of the sky and darkening the sky. That would take months for us to fall into chaos. Haiti took forever, not forever, but to get here it took a while. And a lot of people seem to think it was pretty fast, but they had an earthquake in 2010. Then 11 years later, 2021 or 2021, they had another earthquake, and they just never recovered. And like one of my subscribers was breaking my balls because, like I was telling you earlier, was breaking my balls because they were like, Haiti's a nice, you don't know the truth about Haiti, this and the third. And I'm like, and the person was saying I should look more into Haiti, and I'm like, that's all fine and good, but if Haiti was such a nice place, if Haiti was such an outstanding country, why the hell are so many people leaving? And this is before what's going on now. People were leaving in droves. I mean, I know
Yeah.
Haitians that are like they don't want to live there. They do visit because they have family still there, but they don't want to live there. They're like,
No.
yeah, right. And if so many Haitians are leaving in droves right now, Haiti's a shithole. And that's what I said to set the person off. They're like, it's not a shithole. I'm like, it absolutely is. That's like there's certain parts of the Bronx, the area I work in. It's a shithole, and it's just a loose term, I mean, like I don't know. What is your opinion on what's going on with Haiti?
Well, with Haiti, I mean, it's always like you said. It's kind of been a shithole. Shithole. I don't get any advertisements. Come take a cruise to Haiti, or
Oh,
come visit Port-au-Prince and our nice, great white sandy beaches. I don't get those. I mean, I'm getting stuff for other places. Let's go to the Bahamas or something like that. Uh, it's just like you said with the earthquake and everything, and then just the governments that they've got there. It's never going to be a real nice place, in my opinion, because you've got the gangs that are taking over right now, and they're putting demands on everything. They're essentially telling the government, it's like, hey, if you don't do this, we're just going to root and riot and kill everybody. I think it's. I looked at it earlier today. I think 1,200 people have already died down there and been killed, and like 700 people wounded, and that's just been in a span of a few days. So I mean, the gangs are just going to take over, and you've really only got one option. You can bring the military in. If the military could take those gangs and put them in their place, but then you're living under a military dictatorship after that, which I mean, we see that works all over the place, doesn't it?
Yeah, it works out well. It's probably why
Yeah.
they're trying to head us in that direction. I mean, here in the United States, that is. But listen, like you were saying, I never once got up and was like, you know what, man, I want to go to Haiti and hang out there and vacation. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just it's like no one. There's certain countries in Africa. Hell, there's just certain countries around the world. You never wake up and go, I want to go. Like people actually go to India. I don't understand why. I
Me
know
neither.
that. Yeah, I know that India does have its beautiful spots, and like for photography purposes, there's some awesome spots. But for better lack of a word, India's a shithole, man. It's like, and the shit that goes on there, and the raping of women, which is a constant thing. I've been reading stories for the last 10 years, and there's always a rape incident that makes it nationally or globally rather. Sorry, and in fact, there was. I think she was a content creator. Pretty sure she was on Instagram. She was gang raped. This was like 2 3 months ago. Maybe it was 6 months ago now. And she was gang raped by five dudes, and they beat up the husband. They beat him to a living pulp. He didn't die. Neither of them died. They both lived. But she's got to deal with the fact that she was gang raped. Anyway, she's telling the story about what happened to her and how bad it was. I could see her eating a bullet or jumping off a bridge in the next couple months because that is a
No doubt.
horrific. That's a horrific thing to go through, And the husband, they said he was knocked out, but then there was another report, or I think he said that he watched. So I mean, yeah, imagine. Um, the, again, there's certain places in this world, man, we should not be frequenting. We shouldn't be giving
Yeah.
out money to. And India is one of those countries that I think we should stay away from until they get the shit right. Now they captured the guys. I think they caught four of them, and one of them is on the lam, or vice versa, or they caught one and four of them on the lam, whatever. But still, why do people insist on visiting places that have a high threshold for violence and a high disregard for women, right?
Yeah.
So I don't understand it. But um,
I mean, I went on a cruise, and this has been 12, 18 years ago. I went on a cruise to the Caribbean, and they were talking about on the boat. They're like, when we get off on this one island, it was down in the Caribbean. They're like, when we get off on this one island, there's this great duty free shopping and all this other stuff. And I was like, cool, let's go. I want to go look around. It was a shithole. I mean, I got out and literally the streets smelled like piss. There were chickens running around and naked kids, and I'm like, hell, I'm like, what kind of shopping is there going to be here? I was like, I went and got back on the boat and gambled the rest of the day. I was like,
you're like,
I
nope.
was like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, I don't want to be here. Yeah, and it's funny. We went to Tahiti a few years ago, and when you look at pictures of Tahiti, blue waters, turtles and shit floating around, the Tahitian women like doing their hula dance, whatever the fucking dance they do. You're like, oh man, this is nice, right? But then as soon as you leave the compound, which is the resort, you're like, yo, this is shitty, you know.
Yeah,
And you would think, and this is where corporations need to cut their shit. But you would think like the corporations would give more money to the people or to the area to spruce it up some more, right? And I mean,
yeah,
it looked like fucking a Tahitian version of a white trash neighborhood in like Alabama somewhere. Like it was guys were wearing guys were wearing trucker caps and jean shorts. I'm like, the fuck is going on? And they pick pineapples on the one island we were on. We went to a pineapple field, and
yeah,
I was like, what the fuck, man? These guys, like, they go out into the field on hills, they cut pineapples from their vines, and they got to lug these fucking pineapples back to the road and then um, put it on the truck to get it to the road. And that shit was a lot of work. I got tired looking at them. I was like,
oh
this,
yeah,
this is fucking crazy.
and probably get $1 a day or something to do it.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, like, you would think with all the resorts in the area that area would be flourishing a little bit. But no, not at all. So, the measles. Have you heard anything recently about it?
I hadn't heard anything, but my honest opinion on it, they're going to try to release a bunch of stuff, and hell, they might try to do lockdown 2.0 again. So I mean, and I don't know as far as the measles vaccine and stuff like that. I've got one of my friends that used to work in public health, and you would see some measles outbreaks and stuff in
Yeah.
Kentucky, but most of the time it was like the Amish and the Mennonite communities because they don't do any kind of vaccines or anything like that. So they would have some measles outbreaks and stuff like that quite often.
And interesting because watching. Well, I'm not even. I've been following the measles outbreaks, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, all right, no big deal. What's the I don't see the issue here, and it's 45 cases. Rick, man, thank you for the donation. It's 45 cases. It's not a big to do, right? That being said, the migrants seem to be bringing them in.
Yeah.
So migrants. This is an article. I'm not going to read all of it. I'm just going to read like the first paragraph. Migrant measles sparked fear of wider outbreak, right? And the first measles case in 5 years in Chicago, sparking concerns of a wider outbreak, though officials said the vaccination should keep most people healthy. They're not even fucking sure. But the craziness about the article was there are 300 people supposedly exposed to the measles in Sacramento. They have 100 people, or 99 or 98 people in Chicago, quarantined for 20 days.
Jeez.
Right. So to make sure they don't break out, and they're all migrants.
Yeah.
Haiti is going to be the new influx, right? We're going to see an influx of people. I mean, you're not going to see it. You're in Middle America, right? But Florida's going to see it. If enough come through the border, they're going to be shipped up here to New York. We're going to see it, and we're going to see new diseases, or rather, we're going to see an influx in diseases we hadn't seen in a long time.
Yeah, the old diseases will come back that we've eradicated in the United States, but these third world countries they've still got it and they've still got a problem with it, and people don't have any immunity for it, and it'll probably make a comeback. I mean, it's bad to say when your borders are wide open like they are now, and hell, whoever and their mom can come in. I mean, you never know what these people are bringing over, any kind of diseases that they got. I mean, they're just bringing it straight over, and they're putting them on buses, and it's the best way to spread any kind of disease. Stick them on a bus at the border and ship them to New York, ship them to Chicago. Hell, they are shipping them to Kentucky. I mean, we've got a refugee center here, and we wind up, but you see a lot of people like that, a lot of the migrants and stuff.
You have a refugee center by you?
Yeah, there's
No
one
shit.
in Bowling Green.
No shit.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that. I would have been like, okay, it's the last place on the planet. You got, because it's like Middle America. Apparently, they're spreading them
Yeah.
nice and evenly through the country. I guess.
Oh, yeah. They know exactly what they're doing. I mean, it's all planned. I mean, if anybody says it's not planned, they're stupid.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's definitely a plan. I know what's her name. Northern Girl Hobbies was just saying she calls bullshit. It's a trap. I'm like, the one thing about measles is that they can't lie about it. And you know what? It's not that I don't believe it, because I they know that letting in migrants from all over the world, right? So it's not just South Americans and Central Americans; it's from all over the world. We've seen Chinese come through, Muslims come through. Now Haitians have been coming through for years, right? So this influx that they're looking for, it's going to happen, but they've been coming in for years as well. And with all of these new people coming here, there are undoubtedly going to be diseases that follow them, along with their bullshit. Now, out by you, are migrants running rampant, or they're I hate to say this, but tamed?
They're they're pretty tame. Bowling Green is still a small city, so we're not a huge city, but I mean we got a lot of migrants. You can see it's not all white country kids running around in Kentucky like a lot of people think. I mean there's South Americans, Mexicans. There's a lot of Muslims here. I mean, just for the size of Bowling Green, there's three Muslim churches or whatever you want to call them, whatever they're called. But there's
Mosques.
three. Yeah, there's three of those in Bowling Green.
Really?
So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a diversified deal. And there's one of my sons went to a Catholic school, and there was a lot of foreign kids at that Catholic school.
No shit. The
Yeah,
the the Muslim thing. I tell people. I tell people the Muslim thing to watch out for that one, because they're them and the Chinese are going to be battling it out in this country probably in the next 20, 30 years. But they're trying to take over. And they're doing it a little more sensibly, right? So they're not blowing themselves up anymore, but they're buying land all over the nation. Um, Anywhere they set up a mosque, that's not a good thing. It's never
yeah,
has been a good thing. Um, and it's one thing to have one mosque, and especially you said in what is it, Bowling Green,
yeah, Bowling Green.
right? And it's one thing to have like one mosque in Bowling Green and everybody come there, but if you have three,
Yeah,
that's a problem, right?
yeah. And
Especially
our county is only about 140,000 population in this county. So,
really,
yeah, to have three mosques and 140,000 population seems like a lot to me.
it is a lot. And there used to be a thing, at least during the Crusades, when the Muslims won an area or took over an area, they built a mosque to establish that they took over the area,
Yeah,
right? And they continue to do it, like when they took the trade centers down, right? Whether you believe they did or not, when they took the trade centers down, they built a mosque not even a block away from the trade center. You can actually, when you go, if you ever gone, you go down to the what you call it, the memorial, the footprint, if you will. Sorry, and if you stand by the southwest corner of it, southeast corner of it, right behind you, you can see the mosque, right?
really.
And that was them taking over it. Uh, there are a lot of people on here that are like, we got Sharia and Dearborn. Yeah,
Yeah, Sharif Hall.
yeah. And here in New York, the schools in New York, they're trying to change the definition of Sharia, sorry, and they're trying to change the definition of jihad. You know, and then though jihad is like, according to everything I've read, and even in the Quran, it states that it's a struggle. They're trying to make the word more friendlier, right? So,
Yeah,
I mean, for example, if the word nigger was an ignorant person, right?
yeah,
But now it has a negative connotation to it, and you can't run around. I mean, you can say what the fuck you want, you know, but people are like, oh, but you can't say that word. But I'm like, or retard, for example, which is retardation. You can't say that anymore. But
yeah.
they're
And
trying
that
to, go ahead.
retardation just means slow,
Right,
but they bastardize it into calling it something else.
and then you can't use the word anymore, right? You can't even use the word midget. But now
Yeah,
they're trying to turn jihad into something meaningful again, or bring back its original meaning. But a lot of people are not going to. Um, they're not going to take that up. They're definitely not going to believe in that bullshit. So I don't know what their what you call their mission is, but when Israel got taken over or invaded, if you will, they automatically started protecting Muslims here in New York, and I'm like, what the fuck is that about?
yeah,
You know, um, yeah, Adriana, leave the Google guy alone. He's a dick. Just let him be a dick. It's his thing. Okay, maybe not. I'm gonna
I
talk.
mean, if the U.S. protected its citizens like it protects all these illegal immigrants and stuff like that, I mean, Lord, just think of what kind of country we'd have. But it's like the United States government wants to take care of everybody else, and damn with the U.S. citizens, they just don't really care about us.
No, they don't. And that's the proof is everything they're doing everywhere outside of the world, and or taking care of pockets of people like the LGBT community. They dump
Yeah,
so much money into protecting them, but forget about the working average citizen. And the LGBT community, they fail to realize that they become part of the average citizens when just because they protect their group doesn't mean they protect their well-being as a whole. Like because not you, they're still Americans. They're still
Yeah.
affected by the gas prices, the what you call in the food, the whole 9 yards. Um, but for whatever reason, they dump money into everything else but us, and or never give us a break. You know?
Yeah. Because we're normal U.S. citizens. They want to do the LGBT and all that to normalize everything else. So they've got to dump money in it to normalize everything, but then they don't take care of the normal U.S. citizens that are working every day, providing a living for their family and doing what they're supposed to. I mean, Lord, I could quit my job, go on food stamps, and get all kinds of stuff, and not have to pay taxes and all that. But that's not what you're supposed to do as an American.
No, and the crazy shit is, people are saying that working, and I heard this once, and it didn't really go anywhere. But I heard that like working was racist because you're working for white people. I'm like, how the fuck did we get here? Like, just I mean, just leaking something out. You always have a small group of people that are going to sit there and agree with you, like always. I mean, and it's not shocking. Yes, it can be shocking when for example, the group of people that like to touch kids, right?
Yeah,
They're starting to make them a sexual, um, what you call a group now. Like they're
yeah,
sitting there talking about, oh, their sexual orientation, and they're like, well, they can't help it. Well, shit, I know what can help them. A fucking,
a wood chipper.
yeah, would help them greatly. But
Yeah,
they're sitting there. So there's a push right now here in I think it's New York. Pretty sure it's New York, or maybe it's Jersey, where they're pushing for kids to be able. It's here in New York, pushing for them to make decisions like taking the next arm ticket, whatever that arm ticket is,
yeah,
making decisions to get gender affirming care, whatever that
yeah,
gender affirming care is, and as young as I think 14 or 12 years old, they want these kids to make these decisions.
yeah.
Donald and Beef and Chicken. My guess is Jason. Also, Jason Sparks, but his name is Jason, like mine. People keep asking. Um, and in a little bit, Jason, I want you to go over the whole Kentucky Sustainable Living thing again. Being that
Yeah. All
we
right.
got a
Yeah,
little more people on.
and the whole thing about it is they're wanting to keep us divided. I'm a white guy, you're a black guy. They want us at odds and fighting each other and calling each other all the racial slurs and everything and saying, you need to quit working, Jason, because you're just working for me. I'm a white guy, so you're working for me. They just want that divide, and they really don't want you and I talking about things and seeing that we believe in, the same core basic principles, because then we're united and we can do something about it. But
Right.
if they keep us at odds all the time, we're fighting each other, and then they're just sitting back laughing, going, "Hey, we got them right where we want them."
And and that's the thing. I mean, granted, there are cultural differences, right? But sorry, my friend's finally answering me about his issue. Yeah, he did have the back pain.
Okay.
Right. Um, lower back pain and agony. He said, "You were in pain too."
Oh, it was miserable. It was 2 days pretty much laying in bed, popping a leave and Motrin on and off. And like I would get up to go to the bathroom and get something to drink, and I would come and sit down at the bar stool at the house, and I'm like, holy shit, this hurts. I've just got to go back and lay down. And it
So
was
do
two
me
straight days of that.
so do me a favor. Explain to everybody what it was you were going through.
Last week, a virus ran through my whole house. My wife she ended up getting dehydrated from throwing up diarrhea. And so we had to take her to the emergency room to get fluids. They ran all the tests, tested her for all the different viruses, norovirus, the vid, all that. And they said it's none of that. And the ER doctor was like, we've seen this virus in a lot of people. There's no name for it. But he said, we've seen tons of people. My mother-in-law laid in bed for about 4 days, just miserable. I had a cough. I've still got a smidge of a cough every now and then, but I had the lower back pain for over 2 days and just horrible pain. I didn't have any of the throwing up and stuff like that, but horrible pain. Felt even when I got over that, like for 2 days, I would get out and go to work, and within 10 minutes, I was just drained of every
All
bit of
right.
energy I had. I mean, it's like I'd ran a marathon.
He said the same shit a couple of days ago. He came back to work. He's like, I'm not feeling good, and he goes, he says, I still feel tired and drained, and I'm like, yo, what did you have? AIDS? What the fuck's going on with you?
Yeah,
And he was like, he's like, no, you fucking asshole. And I go, he tells me, he goes, my wife went through the same shit. I go, really? He goes, yeah. I go, all right. So you saying it. And when we were talking earlier, I'm like, holy shit, fucking guy, my firehouse just went through the same shit. And he lives on Long Island, and you live in
yeah,
Kentucky, and you saying what you just said about the doctor not being able to figure out what's going on. And I thought it was a neurovirus, but you said no, and he said no too.
yeah. And they tested her. They tested her for the vid. They tested her for norovirus, all these other viruses. Hell, they even checked her to see if she was septic.
Really,
Yeah, and I mean, they gave her antibiotics and fluids. She was there for about 3 or 4 hours, and they were like, "Here's your." They gave her intravenous antibiotics and all the fluid, and sent her home. And they're like, "It's some kind of virus. We just don't know what the name of it is."
it's very interesting. Very interesting.
And there's
Yeah,
been a lot of other people too. Even some of my buddies in Tennessee have had it. One of my buddies in Indiana had the same thing.
in Indiana,
Yeah,
huh? And it's funny. There's no real reporting of it, right? Like you don't see it on the news. You don't see mystery virus. And Adriana's asking, so what is it? They don't know.
yeah,
Um, 6 day AIDS, very good. Uh, but yeah, because like my buddy, he got him and I think his wife got tested for it. I think his wife was sick as well too, and got tested for it. And he said they couldn't find out what it was. You know,
yeah,
um, and again, because both of you said you were in pain, I was automatically thinking norovirus. I'm like, that makes sense. Because when I spoke to you on the phone, you told me about that. And
yeah,
that's what I was thinking. But when you said your back was hurting, I'm like, shit, well, his back was hurting too. And that's not one of the symptoms of norovirus. I'm like, holy shit. But
yeah. Right where your kidneys were. I mean, right at my kidneys. I mean, just horrible pain. I was like, this sucks. I was like, I originally, I really thought about going to the emergency room. It was hurting so bad.
really,
Yeah,
holy shit. And so that leads to the next thing I wanted to talk about. Well, we were talking about, like another pandemic headed this way, and we were talking about measles cases flaring up and shit. But there's been multiple things going on, like the bubonic plague, leprosy, right, coming back. I think we're going to see a multi-level pandemic. So it's not going to be one thing; it's going to be a few things, because there's just way too many diseases going around and reports of new diseases, and some of them are nothing. Some of them are like, yeah, whatever, man. But others are like this shit here, this mystery, whatever you guys had, that no one knows what the hell it is. And I suspect we're going to start seeing more of that in the next couple of weeks. Again, being that, and he was at the firehouse, and no one else got sick with it, so it's probably
really.
not right. No, it doesn't seem that contagious, though. Um, his wife got sick as well, but I don't think his kids did. And again, he was at work, and neither of us got sick.
Yeah. And I mean, I think they could throw it on a 2 or 3 front level as far as another pandemic. If you look what the last pandemic did, I never went and got tested, and I got sick for like 3 days. Like I had the shits for 3 days. My stomach felt horrible, and I'm like, I guess that's the only thing it is. I didn't do any testing or anything like that, but the last one affected everybody so different. Some people were over it in like a day. Some people had the long haul, months and months and
Right,
lasting. So they really don't know what it's going to do to each person. But if they do the shotgun approach and throw four things out, they're like, yeah, four things, that'll screw everybody for sure.
right, and it'll definitely get people scared again. Right, it'll definitely get people wanting some kind of arm ticket because they're like, you know, we got to protect ourselves. I'm like, listen, man. I'll take whatever comes my way. I'm 1,000% sure I'm not going to die from whatever the hell comes our way. Yes, does it suck the older you get when you get sick? It's a lot different than when you're young, but I'm not going to bend the knee to their bullshit because I it's just something that I think that they're trying to push another agenda on us and another way to lock it down because what's happening this year, the elections,
Yeah.
right? So now, what do you think is going to be the outcome of the election this year?
I think they're probably going to. I mean, they've cheated in the last, 5 or 6 elections, and my personal opinion, everything's rigged. It's been rigged for a long time. They're going to try to cheat again on it. It's just a matter of how much they want to cheat. You see what happened the last election. There's evidence, and I mean, overwhelming evidence of fraud in all kinds of places.
Right.
Uh, and if you tried to do anything about it, you wound up deep in a hole somewhere and never heard from again. So they've scared the American people where you can't. If you speak out about it, it's like, oh, you just kind of your ass disappears, kind of deal.
Just like the Boeing guy, right? The Boeing employee. You heard about
Yeah,
that?
I
So
saw that. Yeah, I mean, he wound up suddenly dead in his car. After all the whistleblowing stuff, I'm just like, what the hell?
and the craziness about it is the timing couldn't be any any more weirder. And then people are like, and no one's buying it. That's the crazy shit. Like a lot of people like whistleblower dead in the car. Yeah, Boeing did it, but of course, that's not going to be the talk. The media, which listen, I believe there are reporters out there who want to report the truth and the facts, and a lot of
Yeah.
those reporters get shunned, get kicked out of the industry. There's a lot of reporters that are getting shunned and kicked out of the industry. In fact, there was one guy who was on an interview on YouTube for some other channel, and he talked about how he left the journalist industry because he kept getting redirected. Right? If he wanted to talk about, for example, Biden and his bullshit, he got redirected. If he
Yep.
wanted to talk about, uh, you know, the election, he couldn't talk about it. You know.
Hmm.
Um, Now, as far as the outcome, I think assassinations on the table because to, and I'm going to say it in a different way, misdirect the election this time around is going to be virtually impossible. Because the problem is if it's close, right? If it's close, they can nudge the numbers a little bit.
Yeah.
But if Trump is way up here, there's no way they can misdirect it or add more points, if you will, to to get to here. Because then it would
Oh,
be
yeah.
too obvious, right? So and listen, they're Democrats in this city that's like, damn it, we got to vote for Trump. We got to get the hell out of this hellhole because New York's falling apart. Eric Adams is inviting every migrant he possibly can to the city. We're paying too much for groceries.
Yep.
Insurance on every level's gone up. I mean, we're getting hammered. We're getting hammered, and people don't like what's going on with the migrants, and they're looking at Trump now to vote for him.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that everybody's like all of a sudden the migrants are a problem. Biden talks about, oh, we need to do something about it right before the election. I honestly don't think the country can survive another 4 years under Biden or whoever Biden is right now. I think he's some kind of puppet, not even
Right.
a real person. But we can't survive if you look at the inflation and the stuff. I mean, I saw where people in California are putting their weekly groceries on a credit card and paying credit card interest rates just for groceries.
No
And
shit.
then, yeah, and then you've got on top of it the Texas wildfires that they had. It burned, I think it burned over 1 million acres in Texas. Thousands of cattle have been died or misplaced. So what that does to the beef price, that just takes the beef price even higher than what it is right now. So people aren't going to be, affording and eating beef just because the price is going to be so stupid. I mean, even here, if you go buy a ribeye, here at Sam's, you're going to pay about $15 a pound for ribeye. and
Really?
it's probably it's probably going to hit over $20 a pound. I would say pretty soon. Just a lot of it is because of the Texas wildfire.
And the craziness about it is, a lot of our beef comes from South America,
Yeah.
right? And so I think that the ranches down there utilize because a lot of people don't know where our beef comes from, right? A lot of people assume that it's from here, unless you go to a local farm or you know someone. They're going to utilize that and be like, well, if they're low on beef, we can mark it up a little bit, and take part of that, whatever the fuck's going on. Um, I find it interesting, man. Like this year, we're only in March. We're only in March, and we hadn't seen anything yet. And I
Oh
tell
yeah.
people that all the time. I think it's gonna get really really interesting in the next few weeks, few months.
Oh yeah. Just wait until summer comes, and then that's when everybody starts getting hot. It starts getting hot. People get hot, and that's when you get riots and all that kind of shit happening and popping off.
Yeah, well, listen, I myself been gotten into two arguments this week, over bullshit, and I watched two car chases. One I couldn't believe I was watching. I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" It was Durango trying to outrun a tow truck, and it was one of those tow trucks, the pickup tow trucks with the
Yeah.
Hemi in it, and they were hauling ass, but in the city streets. And then I watched a cop car try to go into the Bronx at 4 o'clock in the afternoon with a lot of traffic over here. It got to a point where they got locked in. One cop jumped out of his car and started running down a bridge, running, off on the bridge. I'm like, where the fuck is he going? There's a lot of
Yeah.
bridge in front of him. So the cop gets through, the cop that's driving gets through, picks him up, and then they keep going. I mean, it had to be a 13 the way they were responding, 1013, sorry, or 1085, which is the officer need assistant. Um, it could have been it could have been that, but just the shit we're seeing in the city, and we're not even in the summer yet. And
Yeah.
the thing is, I like chaos. Like I thrive in chaos, and I'm waiting for the summer because I'm gonna do my walkabouts again, just to show people how bad the city's getting. That's one. Um, Two, just so that people could share this shitty experience with me because it's just really getting bad. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I, it, people are being shoved into the train tracks for no reason. I mean, listen, how's crime around you with the migrants being there?
It crime. I've lived in Bowling Green my whole life, and crime has picked up every year. It gets a little bit more and more. We don't have. I mean, it's not like every night there's murders and stuff like that, but there are people killing people. There's shootings and stuff like that. It's not. It's not horrible. I feel perfectly safe going anywhere in Bowling Green, except for one little part. Where most of the migrants and stuff like that are. I don't go down there at night, but typically anywhere in Bowling Green, I'm fine at night. I mean, of course, I'm strapped to the hilt with a gun and everything else, but it's no problem for me. When we get off here, I would go to Walmart and feel perfectly safe. But like I said, I'm strapped with a gun on my hip and ready to go. But yeah, crime does pick up. I mean, there's people stealing stuff. I haven't seen like in the big cities where you see, especially in California, where the people just mob like a CVS or something
Right.
and grab all the shit out of there. None of that stuff is happening in Bowling Green. I think some of the boys in Bowling Green have whooped the shit out of the guys if they tried to do that.
That would be and that's a good thing. You know the crazy shit about it here in the city, and I'm speculating because I don't know. I have a bad feeling that if you were to jump in, let's just say somebody's ransacking the store, and the guy comes across, and I give him a stiff arm, right? And he goes
Yeah,
down, he breaks a fucking arm, he's missing an eye for some reason, and then I get arrested for assaulting him.
yeah,
Like that's the crazy shit about the whole situation. At least here in New York City, or rather New York State. But yeah, crime has gotten so much worse. But again, because I grew up in the '80s when it was really bad, and it's getting back there. I'm comfortable with this, which is weird.
yeah.
But wanting to get the kids out of here, that's the next mission. But
You just need to move down here with me.
and and it's funny. I've been talking, like the wife and I not together, but even she's starting to be like, "Yo, we gotta get the fuck out of here." And
Yeah.
we had this conversation a month ago. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me now?" She goes, "Well, I say I've been trying to get us out of here for years, and you kept hemming and hawing, And now she's like, she's ready. So, I don't know what we're gonna do with that, but if I can get them out of the city, and then fine. We can only afford one of us to leave. I would rather them leave, and then I would stay behind. But if it comes down to it, but
I
I
can
don't know
get you
yet.
on. I can get you on at the fire department down here. I mean, shit, it'd be a cakewalk being a fireman down here.
It'd be too much of a cakewalk. I like to get to feel my balls in my throat every now and again when we go to a fire. That's you get into a shitty situation. You're like, shit, are we getting out of this? And that's the crazy shit about like the whole firefighting thing, man. It's a that's like a drug, right?
I can imagine.
And maybe twice I've been in two situations where I'm like, yo, this goes sideways, we're fucked, and we have to. And I look back, and it was like there was four guys behind me, and I'm like, and one guy goes, and without missing a beat, because I look out of the window, he goes, I guess we're all diving out, and I go, shit, I said, I guess we are. Um, and it wouldn't have been a bad fall. It was like a two-story drop to a setback. I
Yeah.
think we would all survive that, but it was just at one point in time where I was like, yo, this is crazy. When we were done, when we were done with the fire, I was like, yo, that was some good shit. Like just that whole feeling of this could go sideways and this could be a fuck situation. But yeah, going anywhere else and being a firefighter, I couldn't do it. I would have to retire and like be a sheriff or some shit or a librarian. I don't know, but I couldn't be firefighting anywhere else. Yeah, imagine me librarian. What the fuck you
Yeah.
want? Where's the book? It's fucking over there. I couldn't do that. Couldn't be a
You just
librarian.
smack the shit out of them.
Yeah, I said you fucking creased the page in this book, kid. Fucking backhand him with it. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. Shit's just getting like way out of control, but all over the place. It's like not even just here in the United States. It's like all over the world. Places that weren't like Japan is running into a huge problem with Kurds. I'm like,
Yeah.
and Kurds, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're Muslims. Why would, out of all places on this world, would you go to Japan?
Yeah.
You know?
And it's an island. It's not like they walked over,
Yeah,
across the border. Like you got to get your ass on a boat or a plane to get there.
exactly. And that's why I was like, and that's when I started to say, holy shit, this is the takeover they were talking about. But nobody else wanted to talk about it because if you say it, you're racist. It's like, yo, this is the takeover. This has got to be.
Yeah.
Why would they go to an island? And just like the, I forgot, I think it's Northern Africans, North Africans. There's an island in Italy that they're raiding. And
Yeah. I've seen that.
right? And I'm like, what the fuck? You mean to tell me you got on this boat with no swimming skills to go to this island just to take it over because your friend Mobutu was like, yo, guys, come over here. There's no one here guarding us. We could do what we want. And they took the island over within a day or two. 2 to 3 days, sorry. They took the island completely over. I was like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and like the Muslims, they're playing the long game on
Yes.
that. They've been doing it for a long time, and they're patient about it and stuff like that. And it's going to be a takeover. And the Chinese are pretty patient about stuff too. I mean, well, hell, the Chinese own what is it? It's the biggest pork producer in the United States. They own that.
Yes, they do. And they just, the FDA just cleared or is allowing genetically, now they're not calling it genetically modified anymore. They're calling it genetically edited meat.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck is edited meat? But anyway, it's pork that they want to they're pushing right now. So I'm like, pork, like out of all the fucking meats, they're starting with pork. I guess because it's a little easier to replicate. You
I
know.
guess. I tell you, all the pork we eat is over here in my field, and there's
Huh.
no genetically engineered pork at my place.
And that's a good thing. And that's the problem is like with beef and chicken. I have to start going to a farmer to get my shit because you can't trust any of it. Though right now they're passing labels that they have to label it if it's genetically modified or edited or whatever it is, which is good. But it's going to come to a point where they're going to get rid of that so people can buy it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I see genetically modified meat in the store. I'm going out of my way to smash it in the fucking smithereens.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing. I don't understand why somebody would want to eat that crap. If you look at the labels, like I know exactly what is in my pork, my chicken, my lamb, and my beef that we raise. We feed them grass and a little bit of grain. No antibiotics, no hormones, none of that crap. And then you look at the label of this genetically modified crap, and it's like, I mean, there's a freaking laundry list of all these ingredients, and it's like, why in the hell would somebody want to put that in their body?
Yeah, seriously, and that's the crazy thing is, and I'm glad you brought that up because people are being told that our food is poison, right? Skittles, Nerds, Doritos, Cheerios. We just found out, Quaker Oats, and people are still eating it. And then everybody's excuse is, well, you're going to die of something. I said, well, I'm going to promise you something. When you start getting sick, you're going to regret every time you ate that Cheerios after you found out you weren't supposed to eat it. I said, pain is the greatest negotiator. And it it forms people into a different animal when they're in pain. Like
Yeah.
people who go through lung cancer from smoking, they all state, oh, not all of them, but most of them are like, I wish I would have never picked up cigarettes.
Yeah.
After years of being told, don't smoke cigarettes, you should stop, give it up, be easy. They're like, no, don't worry about it. We all got to die someday. And these same people, 20 years later, get lung cancer, and they're like, I shouldn't have did it, or they're on the fucking TV with the thing in their throat. Oh man, I fucked up. But yeah, you fucked up, because we were telling you you should have gave it up. I mean, you want to minimize the amount of pain you're going to go through when you get sick, because
Yeah.
undoubtedly we're all going to get sick, but you definitely want to um, minimize that problem. You know,
Oh,
and eat less of
and
this shit.
if more people ate the keto and carnivore diet and ate more meat and cut out all the grains and all that kind of crap, you would feel so much better. I did that for quite a while, and I'm a carnivore. I eat meat. If I have a meal and there's not meat with it, it's a snack, in my opinion.
Right,
I'm perfectly fine. I had just beef patties for dinner tonight. I mean, literally, I ate three big beef patties, and that was my dinner. But when I was doing carnivore, I would literally come in and take like a 12-ounce ribeye, grill a 12-ounce ribeye, and eat that for dinner, and that's all I had. And then for breakfast, I would eat like half a pound of bacon and like four scrambled eggs, and just eat nothing but protein, and I felt amazing. My back did not hurt. My knees didn't hurt when I got up in the morning, and just felt awesome. Had energy, no crashes or anything like that. Like, if you eat a bowl of cereal, all that does is spike your insulin and you feel like shit an hour later.
right, and you get tired all of a sudden. I mean, like you're tired throughout the day, right? I mean, listen, I've been cutting down my sugar intake, and I did so that today I said, let me go back to a tablespoon of sugar, and it was too sweet. Right, the
Yeah.
coffee I was drinking, right? So I cut down my coffee intake. I cutting down my sugar intake because that's the only time I take in sugar is in my coffee. Anything else, it's just salt for the most part. But are you vaxxed, man? Buzzsaw. Yeah, no, he's not vaxxed, right? Yeah, you're not vaxxed.
Lord, Lord, no, I would never get that thing.
It's insanity to me that people still believe in this shit. That's the
Yeah.
most insane shit I've ever heard in my life. I'm like, why the fuck do people still think that this thing is working? There are people who are standing online in CVS, I think it is, on 125th Street, uh, getting,
Get, to get their 30th booster.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's insane. But
Oh yeah, no, the thought never crossed my mind to get that. Me or any of my family, I'm just like, there is no way. I sat down with my brother and I'm like, what do you think? He's like, what do you mean? What do I think? He's like, I'm not getting that stupid ass thing. I was like, okay, good. I didn't have to have that conversation then.
Yeah, I had to have the conversations with the mother of my kids. I'm like, do not give my son or sons that shot. And
Yeah,
they and the crazy shit is they all agreed without batting an eyelash. They don't like. Well, what if they were like, all right? I said fine. They were like fine, but I'm like, but did you? I asked one mother, did she take it? She go, well, I had to because of the job. Both of them actually. One's a cop and the other one's a fucking nerd, a scientist or some shit. And well, both of them had to take it for the job. And I'm like, now they're both experiencing, minor medical issues, but nonetheless, it's an annoying issue that they have to go through.
yeah,
But and guys at work, they're experiencing blood clotting issues. Uh, one guy experienced that I knew of. He experienced some bad stomach issue where he had to be on a colostomy bag for 6 months. Six
geez,
fucking months. They people are developing problems and they can't find. They don't know what the problem is. They're running all these tests and they don't know what the fuck's going on. And I'm like,
yeah,
I know what's going on. It's the arm ticket, man. That's what it
yeah.
is. You know. Um,
Oh shit, I've got it, and I bought it, and I've still got it. I've got a huge bottle of ivermectin, and
nice.
I know how to use that stuff. It's for the cows and the pigs.
No,
Quote cows and pigs. But I talked to my buddy that's a vet, and he said take the pig dosage, and he said take it for 5 days, and you'll be fine. So
nice. And it's funny when I got sick, I just toughed it. Actually, it only lasted a day and a half for me. My son got it. It was like a day for him. I got it. It was a day and a half. Uh, the wife and my daughter got it, and it was like a week or 3 or 4 days for them. Um, I think my other son lives in Connecticut. He had it, and it was like 2 days for him. So again, a healthier immune system, and
yeah,
you were fine. You were fine.
yeah,
And unfortunately, and the doctor was talking about this. Unfortunately, whenever there's something new like this that pops up, it weeds out the weak,
yeah, exactly.
right? And they're going to go first. And those who are made of, those who have a better system, they're going to last it. Oh, and or not be affected, right? Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't have got sick if I didn't drink out of my wife's cup. She was sick, and she was like, "Don't do that. You're gonna get sick." And I'm like, "Fucking COVID runs for me." So I drank out of her cup, and that was it. A day later, man, I was in the bed. I was like, "Why did I do that?" That was the stupidest thing I've ever done, and I would do it again because I'm an asshole. But
Oh yeah. Well, knock on wood. I get sick like one time a year and down for like a day or two, and other than that, I'm pretty good. So hopefully, this is my one time to be sick for the year, and then I can take the rest of the year and be good.
well, I started a new regiment of stuff, but I shouldn't be getting sick anytime soon. You know.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, a lot of the stuff, getting out and getting your vitamin D from the sun, I mean, that's one of the best things right there, is getting all your vitamin D and being outside. I try to be outside as much as I can, working and everything else. That and eating good. I mean, I'm a big, like I said, a big meat eater. And I think that stuff keeps you healthy more than all the plant based and all the other crap that, I mean, like all your cereals have got Roundup, the glyphosate, it's got so much of that crap in there. That shit makes you sick.
It does. And amongst other shit. So do me a favor. Can you talk about your
Festival?
sustainable living thing again one more time?
Yeah, I'm Jason with Kentucky Sustainable Living. I've got my YouTube channel. It's Kentucky Sustainable Living. We're having our festival is March 23rd and 24th in Bowling Green, Kentucky. It's a homesteading and preparedness festival. We're meshing together all the prepper guys and all the homesteading guys because that overlaps so much. Jason's going to be there to speak. He's going to be talking about bugging out of an urban environment. We've got tons of other speakers and demonstrators, everything from prepping stuff to homesteading. We're doing a lamb processing. One of my lambs that I've raised on my place, we're going to process it start to finish. It'll be alive that morning, and that afternoon it's going to be lamb chops ready to stick on the grill if you want to. We've got demonstrations going on. We've got a ton of vendors, everything from people that are making homemade soaps and homemade herbal tinctures on their farms, all the way up to solar. John Deere will be there with equipment. We've got custom knife makers. We've got medical gear and everything in between. Anything you could think of in the preparedness aspect and the homesteading aspect, we'll have vendors for that. Angry Chris Weatherman, Angry American's going to be there also.
Oh, very good. Very
Yeah.
good.
So he'll be there selling books and signing books for all his fans.
Nice. Very cool. Never met the man. Heard about him.
He's a
Never.
pretty cool guy.
All right, very cool. Hey, listen, I'm always a game to meet new people, especially in an environment like that, where again, it's like-minded people. It's always cool. Uh, but
And
listen,
our website is KentuckySustainableLiving.com. If they can throw that in there, you can buy your tickets there at the website. And if you use the code email25, it'll give you $10 off the ticket. So the whole weekend pass, if you use that email code, it's $25 for the whole weekend to get there.
is this link on one of your videos?
Yeah, if you go to some of my videos, I've got the link on there for the website.
Let's see. Let's go to
If you can
which.
find one, I don't know which one.
Let's see.
It should be in most of them.
It should be right.
Yeah.
Let's try this one.
Now, are you excited about the ham radio class you're going to take?
Am I excited about the ham radio class?
Yeah.
No, but but I'm gonna take it because again, after what we just experienced, I dropped the link in the chat.
All right. And we've also got on Friday before the festival, we have two workshops. Jason's going to be attending the ham radio workshop to where you can get licensed. You're going to go in and get a crash course in ham radio. You can take your test. You're going to leave with a actual handheld radio that's programmed. They're going to take you out and show you how to use that radio. Probably the best class we've got going is Chuck Peoples with Homestead Medical. Chuck does a homestead medical class, and it's an 8-hour class. He teaches you everything from the cool guy ninja shit, how to do chest seals, tourniquets, all that stuff, all the way up on long-term care for patients. Like if you're on your homestead and the grid's down, Chuck's going to show you how to take care of a patient. If you got to take care of somebody with an injury for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, he's going to teach you how to do all that stuff in that class. And
Okay.
those classes are on Friday. They're an extra paid class. We've still got a few spots left, and all that information's on the website too, where you can sign up for those.
Very good. Yeah, a lot of people are saying ham radio is important. That's why I'm taking it. But I tried to look at the book once, and I was like, "Fuck this!" And I threw the book. I don't know what a book is to this day. But I know that you said you sent something out to me, so clearly
Yeah,
when
it
I get
should
it,
be soon. And
yeah,
Jason, the easiest way to pass the ham test
it's
is
cheap.
look at
Oh,
what. Yeah, besides cheat, I might slip one to you, but it it's you look at the question and the correct answer, and don't study. Just look at the question and the right answer and memorize those and do it.
okay,
And it's like your driver's license. You didn't know how to drive when you went and got your permit, but you get your permit. You take the little test. You get your permit, and then once you get your permit, you learn to drive afterwards.
pretty much. You're right. Because we all drove like nervous wrecks when we first started driving, and then
Oh yeah.
once we got good with it, we're fucking racing down the highway like 110 miles an hour. But
Oh, dude, my dad, we drove to, I was 16. I'd had my permit for like 2 weeks. We went to Dallas, Fort Worth, and my dad is like, "Do you want to drive down here?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll try it." I get out on the interstate. Everybody's running 90 and 100 miles an hour. I drive like 3 miles, and I'm used to driving country roads. I pull off, and I got out of the car, and I told my dad, I said, "Never ask me to drive in this godforsaken place again." I said, "I will not ever do it."
really,
Yeah, I was like, these people are freaking crazy.
they are. All right. Well, listen. we got to go because I got to head over to the Angry Truths channel.
That'll
Um,
work.
yeah, no, the chair's not going to Kentucky because everybody breaks my balls about my chair. Um, listen, Jason, thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate it. Listen, this was a good time. The shit went by really fast.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, for sure.
So I do appreciate you coming on, guys. If you can make the Kentucky Sustainable Living event, please do. The link is in the chat. I'm also going to tag the link in the description section below after the video is posted, which it should be right after this. And other than that, I'll see some of you guys. Hopefully, I'll see some of you guys at the event. Other than that, I will see the rest of you guys next week for the doubleheader. All right, guys. Have a good day, or have a good night, rather. And thank you for the donations. Thank you for following me. Thank you for dealing with my bullshit. Good night, guys.